Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to see class 12 biology chapter 2 human reproduction. In that we are going to see gametogenesis. Let's start with the topic children. Spermatogenesis. Yes, before that let's see what is gametogenesis. So gametogenesis is the process of formation of male and female gametes, nothing but sperm and ovum in the reproductive organs. So it includes spermatogenesis, that is the formation of the sperm in testes, and also oogenesis, that is the formation of ovum in ovaries. This topic is very important children. Yeah, let's start with the gametogenesis. Spermatogenesis. So in the spermatogenesis, so it is the process by which sperms are formed in the seminiferous tubules of the testes. It begins at puberty and it continues throughout adult life. So we are going to see the stages of spermatogenesis here. So the first one is the formation of primary spermatocyte. So what happens here? Diploid spermatogonia, that is 2n, which is nothing but 46 chromosomes, they divide by mitosis. So they grow into primary spermatocyte. They grow into primary spermatocytes. Again, meiosis 1 happens. So each spermatocyte, it undergoes meiosis 1 and it forms two haploid secondary spermatocytes, that is n equal to 23 chromosomes, and then meiosis 2 occurs. Each secondary spermatocyte divides again. Yes, it divides again and it produces 4 haploid spermatids. Then starts the spermiogenesis process. So what is spermiogenesis? See, mature sperms are released from Sertoli cells. They are released from Sertoli cells into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. So for example, we can say like a one primary spermatocyte, it produces 4 functional sperm, increasing the chances of fertilization. So what you should remember, spermiogenesis is nothing but formation of the spermatid and which forms the sperms. And spermiation is nothing but the release of the sperm. So in this diagram, you are able to see these are the spermatogonium. You can able to see the Sertoli cells here children. This Sertoli cells is giving the spermatid. Again the spermatid, it is giving rise to the spermatozoa. Hormonal control of spermatogenesis. What is this hormonal regulation? See, spermatogenesis is controlled by hormones through the hypothalamus and pituitary, where the testis axis. So what happens here in the first step? The hypothalamus region, it secretes the gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Yeah, in the short form we have given here. Yeah, gonadotrophin releasing hormone. So after that, what happens? This pituitary hormones, yes, this gonadotrophin stimulates the anterior pituitary. This gonadotrophin releasing hormone, it stimulates the anterior pituitary. The pituitary releases, what it does, it releases luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. What is the action of this hormone, children? See, this luteinizing hormone, it acts on the Leydig cells, yes, to produce the testosterone, that is an androgen. And this follicle stimulating hormone, it acts on the Sertoli cells which nourish developing sperm cells. Yes, so which nourish the developing sperm cells. What is very important in this is together this testosterone and Sertoli cells, they ensure the normal sperm production. Yeah, so here I have given, yes, hypothalamus, yeah, anterior pituitary, so luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. So Leydig cells, androgen is secreted, and Sertoli cells, it is aiding factors. Right children, let's move on to the next one. So here we are going to see the structure of a sperm. What is a sperm? A sperm is a male reproductive cell specially adapted for fertilization. It has many parts. So here you can see the head region is there, neck region is there, yes, and also the middle piece, tail, yeah, these are the parts of your sperm. Let's start with the head piece. So the head contains the haploid nucleus. So this is a nucleus, haploid nucleus. It is covered by the acrosome. And this acrosome, it contains enzymes that help the sperm to penetrate the ovum. What it contains, children? It contains the enzymes which help the sperm to penetrate the ovum. And the neck region, it connects the head to the middle piece, and the middle piece, it is rich in mitochondria. That is why it is a production of ATP, which is very important for the movement process. And the tail region helps the sperm swim towards the ovum. So what you have to know in this is, see, a normal ejaculation, it contains 200 to 300 million sperms, though only one sperm only fertilizes the ovum. And then this acrosomal enzymes here in the acrosome, right? So they digest the outer covering of the egg during the fertilization process. So next we are going to see oogenesis. Oogenesis is nothing but the process of formation of the female gamete, that is the ovum in the ovaries. So what happens here? So these are the stages of the oogenesis. So before birth, millions of oogonia are formed. Millions of oogonia are formed. They become primary oocytes. You can see in this diagram here. Yeah, they become the oogonia are formed and they become the primary oocytes and remain arrested in prophase 1. They remain arrested in the prophase 1. And then follicle development. What follicle development? First, primary follicle is developed. Next, the secondary follicle. Then the tertiary follicle. Then mature Graafian follicle is formed. So at puberty, during each menstrual cycle, one Graafian follicle matures. So this is the Graafian follicle. So one Graafian follicle matures. The primary oocyte completes meiosis 1. The primary oocyte completes meiosis 1. It produces one large secondary oocyte. So this is the one. It produces one large secondary oocyte and one small first polar body. What is ovulation? See, ovulation is nothing but it's like the mature Graafian follicle, it ruptures. Yes, ovulation is the mature Graafian follicle, it ruptures and releases the secondary oocyte. This is ovulation. Like unlike males, only one functional ovum is produced during each cycle. And then what exam point of view you should understand, no new oogonia are formed after birth. So next we are going to see Spermatogenesis vs oogenesis. So I'll explain you this flow chart, children. So what is happening here? So in the step 1, the spermatogonia, that is the 2n equal to 46, that they divide by mitosis, right? And then what happens? They develop into primary spermatocytes, that is the 2n. And then meiosis 1 occurs and it produces two secondary spermatocytes, that is n equal to 23. And in meiosis 2, what happens? It produces four spermatids, that is n equal to 23. Then the spermatids differentiates into four mature spermatozoa through the spermiogenesis process. Yes, so you have to understand this also. So it begins at the puberty, and then what happens? It produces four functional sperms. Yes, from one primary spermatocyte, and cell division are equal. So all four cells becomes functional sperms, and meiosis is completed inside the testis before the sperm release. So let's start with the oogenesis here, children. Formation of ovum. So oogenesis occurs in the ovaries and begins during the fetal life, that is before the birth of a female. So in the first step, what happens? This oogonia, that is 2n equal to 46, they multiply by mitosis during the fetal life and they become the primary oocyte which remain arrested in prophase 1 until puberty. So during each menstrual cycle, one primary oocyte completes meiosis 1. It produces one secondary oocyte and also the first polar body. And then the secondary oocyte is released during the ovulation period. Then what happens? Meiosis 2 is completed only if fertilization occurs. Yes. So one mature ovum is released and also one second polar body is also released. So here what happens? So it begins before the birth, that is the fetal life, and also produces one functional ovum, and cell divisions are unequal. So most of the cytoplasm remains in the ovum and meiosis 2 is completed only after the sperm enters the ovum. So let's see a quick revision of what we saw now. So what is gametogenesis? Formation of the gametes. Spermatogenesis, formation of sperms. Spermiogenesis is conversion of spermatids into sperms. Spermiation is release of mature sperms. Acrosome is the enzyme-filled cap helping fertilization. And GnRH, that is the hormone stimulating, the luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone release. And then oogenesis is formation of ova. Graafian follicle is mature ovarian follicle, and the first polar body is a small cell formed during unequal division in oogenesis. So we have come to the conclusion part, children. Watch the full video. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.